Alright, hi, welcome to a brand new video of the Target Individual Program, the Target Individual Experience. So, I woke up this morning around minutes to 8, and already they started with the sirens, the helicopters. Now, as I'm watching a video on YouTube, they are using car honking, right, to um, when the YouTuber is saying certain words, they're honking their horn. Um, you hear it right there. Very small, very low key honk. Um, you know, again, it is it's ridiculous. I can't even watch a video without these fucking people uh, surveilling what I'm watching. If I'm reading something, I give you an example. Yesterday, when I was by Pam, I had to go there because I had to reschedule my appointment with the neurologist, which again, they always try to prevent me from going to see my neurologist or any doctor, right? Because again, they want to hide the damage that they've done to me using the directed energy weapon as well as using the psychological program. This is why, you know, whenever I see a therapist, okay, they start targeting me because again, influencing and manipulating those individuals. And so, my last therapy session was, I think it was the beginning of the summer, and the therapist told me that, well, I don't think we're going to be a good fit, have you? So I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I called back to make another appointment with another therapist, and they wouldn't give me an appointment with another therapist. They told me that it'd be better if I go in person, right? And so I've been trying to find a new therapist, but no luck because for one, they don't take my insurance. Two, they've been manipulated into targeting me. Okay, and so, and because they do that, and because, like, for me, I'll take a video. I don't give a shit. Okay, because if your job as a therapist, if a person comes to you, is to help that person, not to participate in harming that person, because you take an oath. And just because you think that because it's psychological, that you're not, and they know that they're harming you psychologically. Okay, but they think they can get away with it because it's psychological. That's the point. So anyway, yeah, really, really tired of the bullshit. So yesterday when I was Pam, I was on my daughter's computer, and I was reading something, and I was reading. There was the word easy. Immediately as I said easy, I hear whoop, and I know, okay, that's remote monitoring, right? I wasn't talking out loud. I wasn't watching the video. I was actually reading words. Okay. Now I'm watching the video. I'm watching this Kevin Samuel video about a modern woman in toxic relationships. Okay, not talking about toxic relationship with men, but toxic relationship with other women who tell them the wrong things. Okay, and he says work. He was saying, it's not working, and then car honk, beep. And this has happened before. I keep telling you, there's certain words that they use, not they use, but whenever I read or if I'm watching a video or watching a movie or something like that, they will honk at those particular words. And I keep saying I have to make a list of those words, and but it's hectic. Yes, it is hectic for me right now. I'm in school. Yesterday I was targeted so much that I didn't get no studying done. When I got home, I was so tired. I was so out of it. I couldn't even, do any work at all. So I went to bed. I woke up early this morning, and I'm still not in that headspace yet. So I'm just watching a couple of videos. I was watching videos on negative thinking. Okay, there's a site, a YouTube channel that I subscribe to. Let me see if I can. Let me get my tablet here, and I'll tell you guys what it is. But it's very helpful. Okay, it's very helpful in terms of recognizing a lot of things that have been done to you, a lot of things that you go through as a individual. as a TI, I should say. So the site, where is it here? And it's a site for therapists. And see, and this is what I have to do, right? Because again, when they start taking away your support system, because that's what they'll do. They'll try to destroy your support system, right? So whether it be a family structure, whether it be a relationship with your friends or an intimate partner, they will try to take away that support system. And I keep saying this because I keep saying, we've been conditioned into believing that being by ourselves is healthy. So they'll say things like, you need to be by yourself in order to level up spiritually or to level up consciously. No, you don't. No, you don't. What you're doing is, this is what they do. What you're doing is isolating yourself. I understand how they're trying to create a society in which people isolate themselves so guess what? So there's no unity. They try to take away the love. This is why they create all this trauma within human beings, so that there is no love for one another. You get into a marriage, you get into a relationship, and everyone is for themselves. Okay? They keep, even I heard things like, Pam says to me all the time, she's like, people got their own problems and they should deal with their own problems or what have you, such and such. But when you have a problem, you turn to other people. Okay? Right? You want other people to support you when you have a problem. But you get into a relationship with somebody, that person has an issue, and you pretend that the person issue does not exist, even though the person is telling you every single day, and you pretend that the person issue does not exist. Right? This is the society where it's headed. Okay? And it's already bad, but it's going to get even worse. So like I said, when people start telling you, people talk about, that's that problem having, you understand, we're human beings. We are interconnected to one another. Whether we're from the same family or not, we're human beings. Okay? And what they try to do, the powers that be, is to separate us, to keep us isolated. So they tell you bullshit. And I understand how, when you start to recognize, okay, their psychological manipulation, their psychological program, okay, you understand a lot. And I also do. When you understand a lot, trust me, it's because you're studying it. Okay, you're going to do the research. Believe that. So when they try to tell you about isolation, being by yourself, and you know what? It's okay to be by yourself, right? But it's not okay to be by yourself for long periods of time. It's not okay to spend, moments by yourself. And the only time you gather around people is when you want to go out and party or what have you, or go out to dinner. That is not a good thing. Especially now when people don't even want to talk. They're texting all the time. See, I don't mind texting, but I like to talk, right? Because talking is good. If you're texting all the time, right, it's a form of communication, but it's not a way in which you can, what's the word I'm looking for? Where when you speak to someone, they're hearing your own words, okay? They're hearing your voice, you're hearing their voice. So it is comforting. You have a level of comfort. Even if you're having an argument, it is still, verbally effective, right? And so you have now people, people in marriages don't even talk all day. They'll text each other. People in a relationship don't talk all day. They'll text each other. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit old school, so and I like being a little bit old school. All right. So anyway, so so as I was saying, so when they start telling you these things, isolation, they understand what isolation does. Okay. And like I said, when you reach a higher level of consciousness, you may do exercise like meditation. Yeah, in meditation you may want to be by yourself sometimes, or sometimes if you're with people, you meditate together. Okay, but what they are doing is isolation. Having, this society is becoming more. And I used to be like that when I was younger. This society is becoming more, and I see with people my age, people in their 40s and the 50s, who still act as if they're in their 20s, who still want to party and hang out all the time, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're in a relationship, you should not be hanging out all the time with other people. If you're single, yeah, you still don't want to be hanging out with other people. All when I say hang out, I mean you're partying all the time. Like if you're like you're in your 20s, you hanging out with 20-year-olds and you're looking up to 20-year-olds and 30-something-year-olds, what have you. Like letting them set the example. No, you set the example. Okay? If you're older, you set the example. This is why we have a lot of women and men today who are in their 40s and 50s acting like they're 25-year-old, because that's who they look up to. That's who they hang out with. That's who they try to imitate, which is kind of ridiculous. The society is moving ass backwards. And how is it that we're not seeing this? Okay? But I know the reason. I'm talking to you guys. How is it that y'all not seeing this? So anyways, like I said, I got this morning again. The remote monitoring, surveilling what I'm watching, honking their horn when if I'm watching a video, whenever the YouTuber says something, what have you, they're honking their horns. It's fucking ridiculous. Okay? And something needs to be done, because this is going to get worse. Because these people feel like nothing is going to happen to them. Because again, they have those that are in law enforcement who are religious fanatics, who have access to technologies that you and I as TIs don't have access to. Okay? And they can do stuff like this. So when they're trying to tell you don't document, don't speak out what's being done to you, you speak out. Like I said, you don't have to put it on YouTube. You can make a video, put it on a hard drive, what have you, put it on your computer, and so when you're ready, if you're ready, then upload it so the world can understand and see what's being done to you. But like I said, they would never make me silence. I don't care how much time they want to label me and call me crazy. Because like I said, this has been done before. There's always been this, and the thing about it is that there's a history of this, a documented history. Okay, so when people want to act as if these things don't exist, these things don't happen, one, they're conditioned to be in denial. Two, they're part of it, and they're getting some sort of satisfaction out of it, which is kind of sickening. Three, their children or other family members are getting something out of it. And yes, they have thrown you under the bus. Okay? They have thrown you as a TI under the bus. So, so we have to, as a community, as TIs, support each other. And, you have to understand that telling another TI to pray and all this stuff, that don't do shit. Okay? That don't do shit. Only your perps, they'll try to play tricks on you. They'll because they're monitoring you and surveilling you, so they're seeing you praying, like, okay, if you're a religious TI, you'll pray your good side, all of a sudden they stop targeting you. But it only lasts for a short period of time. Then they go back to targeting you. You understand what I'm saying? It's to make you believe that shit works, but it doesn't. Because if you're praying for this to stop, it ain't supposed to stop. Period. It's not supposed to stop for one day and then they come back and targeting you, or a week and come back and targeting you, or a year and come back and targeting you. It's supposed to be stopped forever. So that shit don't work. Okay? So there you go. And if you really understand, like I said, you think you understand your Christianity, you don't understand your Christianity better than me. Okay? Because I used to be a Christian. My father was a pastor, retired, had a church. My mother, very religious, okay, was a deaconess. Right? So if you think you know your Bible better than me, you're sadly mistaken. Because when I post certain things about the Bible, and people wondering where that comes from, and I'm like, wait, you're a Christian? You're supposed to read the Bible? You don't know where this comes from? And people told, oh, I didn't know the Bible had this. And they call themselves Christians. Like, come on. So anyway, if you're a Christian, you would know that Jesus says that praying is a waste of time. Fasting is a waste of time. Okay? When you read that Christian Bible, you are reading what Paul is advising you to do. Not what Jesus is advising you to do. What Paul is advising you to do. Okay? Particularly in the New Testament. But what you guys need to do, you guys need to go and read the Gnostic Bible. This was the Bible, I wouldn't say the Bible, but this was the set of beliefs and laws that early Christians used. And not that. And don't get the one that says that has Jesus in it. Get the one that kept the original names, right? Yahweh and Yeshua. Okay. So read the Gnostic Bible, Gnostic. Read that. And then go back and read your Christian Bible. And you'll see the similarities and you'll see a very stark difference. Okay? So again, you have to look within yourself. Okay? Don't ask God to give you your strength. Don't ask Jesus to give you strength. Look within yourself. Ask yourself. Right? Ask yourself. How can I learn to make my mind stronger, to understand what's being done to me in a realistic, rational manner? Okay? Then you go online, you look up mind control technologies. Okay? You look up mind control research and you start there. Don't look at something else to try to explain what's happening to you. I'm telling you what's happening to you. Understand the psychology about conditioning, manipulation, particularly dark psychology. And one of the great reads as here that you can read is a PDF called The Hidden Evil PDF by Mark Rich. Okay, then you can go onto his website, www.newworldorder.org, and go on his website and read the information there. There's a lot of information. You can go on psychologicalharassment.com. Plethora of information. Okay, start there. Okay, and understand that it's nothing spiritual that's going on. That is all manipulation. Again, look up Robert J. Lipton, 8 Criteria of Thought Reform. Coercive Persuasion Programming. Margaret Sanger. Not the Margaret Sanger of, with the whole abortion stuff back in the 20s. Not her. Okay? So anyway, I gotta go. I'm trying to get my mind so I can get to doing this homework. And again, I take psychology because again, it is important. When I realized what was really happening in my targeting, it took me a couple of years. Okay, when I used to go on a lot of these TI shows, they will talk about direct energy weapon and this and that, and I said to myself, and I started talking. I said, well, what about the psychological aspect of what's being done to us? TS didn't want to talk about that. Listen to me. The directed energy weapons that they're using, not just to cause you physical harm, but it causes you mental harm also. So you cannot leave psychology out of it. And psychology is the most important part of it. Okay? Because once your mind goes, everything else will go. So this is why you have to understand psychology and psychological manipulation, psychological programming. And the information that I just gave you, those those 2 individuals in terms of Mark Rich his website, a lot of information on there about coercive persuasion programming, right? About thought reform. You have to do the research, okay? And believe me, when you do, you'll still be targeted, okay? But you'll be able to understand and see what's really going on, right? And trust me, that's better than not knowing what's going on, but listening to other people and always switching what you think is happening. Not somebody can tell you anything, and then you start believing that. And another person tell you one thing, it's like, oh, you start believing that, and all of a sudden you have all these thoughts in your mind, but there's no cohesiveness, right? You have no structure in your way of thinking and speaking. And sometimes I fall victim to not having structure because, again, that's because I'm targeted, so it affected me psychologically. But most of the time, my thoughts are structured. But the one thing I never wavered on is who is doing this, the technology involved, the psychological process involved, the effect of it, all negative, of course, and recognizing when you're being conditioned, recognizing when the street theater is at play, right? How to navigate around it to try to avoid the fight or flight phenomenon. So, like I said, just do your research. We all, despite of what they've done to us, despite of how it affected our psychology, we're still human beings, right? We still have a mind. Yeah, they may, able to exert some sort of manipulation and control. Because if you don't know, then it's like, a high percentage, I would say. But once you know, those forces that try to pull you here and pull you there, you'll be able to look at things, analyze it in a much better way, and do what you need to do to preserve your sanity, your mental health, your physical health, right? And so when they try to deter you from going to the doctor, to see a therapist, you'll be able to push through that, okay? And as long as you keep trying, like for me, I've had some therapists, man, but I'm still looking, still gonna look, still gonna be looking, right? Because I know, even though I've learned a lot, I've experienced a lot, okay? And sometimes, with some of these psychologists, therapists, I have to remind them of who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like once they understand that you may not know a lot of things in terms of, because they that's their profession. It's not your profession, right? But once you understand things, they can't, even if they get that therapist or psychiatrist or psychologist to target you, you can still, like, I still continue with the session, but I let them know. I let them know exactly what they are and what it is that they're doing. Okay? So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And, I'll speak to you guys in the next video.